Hi, I'm Leonard Adams, and I will be reading a few pages actually today from my book, Things I Wish My Father Had Told Me, which is available now on Amazon. And I will drop the link to the book in the description of this video. Also, please like and subscribe to this channel, share it with others, and it will be helpful to them as well, I think. Today's pages are pages 16 through 18. And the heading for this section is, I used to say that relationships follow the law of multiplication, not addition. In the law of addition, half a person meets another half a person to become a whole person. Instead, according to the law of multiplication, they become less than when they began, as each grasps for the wholeness from the other, while neither is willing to give until they receive. Whereas a whole person meeting another whole person, each complete within themselves, equals a true oneness. Now, true love has shown me that relationships follow the law of infinity. Infinitely you meets infinitely me. And I know that is a little tough to understand the way I wrote it, so the explanation for this follows. To understand what I used to believe about the law of relationships, imagine a person who feels like they are a half waiting for their other half to complete them and make them whole. And we hear this all the time where people say, this is my better half. So in other words, they're saying they are the half that completes my half to make a whole. And perhaps I am the half that completes their half to make them whole. Many people believe that wholeness is found in intimate relationships. They believe relationships follow the law of addition, so that one half plus one half equals one. However, it is more accurately stated that relationships follow the law of multiplication, so that one half times one half equals 1/4. My half reaches desperately to receive from you to get the other half that I need. And in the meantime, what is your half doing? The same thing, reaching desperately to receive from me. Both of us are reaching, looking for something from the other. Yet what's missing? Giving to one another. In the constant struggle to receive and being hurt time and time again when we don't receive, we end up feeling cheated in those relationships. We end up feeling depleted, left with less than what we brought into the relationship. And we see this all the time with people who leave relationships and they have baggage, and they have they are afraid. They are a lot more cautious, which caution in itself is not a bad thing, but sometimes they find problems where there aren't any because they're still hanging on to the baggage from their past. So they bring all that into the relationship. They bring less into the next relationship than they had in the previous relationship, where they was hurt because they didn't receive, or where they were hurt because they didn't receive from the person what they needed. On the other hand, imagine that both people have learned to manage their baggage. That is, minimized judging their current partner based on events occurring with past partners. This is what I mean when I say a person is whole. When these people are in a relationship together, they are not grasping for completion from another person because they were complete before the relationship began. Therefore, 1 times 1 equals 1, or one whole person times one whole person equals one whole relationship. And that's why it's so important to deal with the baggage before you begin another relationship, because you need to enter relationships as whole And the person who you're entering into the relationship with should have the same motivation to become whole, so that together you can be a whole relationship. For years, that seemed all that was needed to have a wonderful relationship. Yet there was something that felt incomplete about this, something I couldn't figure out. Then I realized that what troubled me was that people could be in this relationship and not ask anything from or truly give themselves to each other. So I can be this whole person, complete in myself, never looking for anything from you. Well, what's the point of the relationship? Or you could be this whole person, never looking for or needing anything from me. Well, what's the point of a relationship? But true love doesn't begin because we are whole, because we have come to terms with our past, or simply because we say it should. It begins with accepting who we are, the good, the bad, the in-between. It begins when we are willing to admit our weaknesses. We are willing to be vulnerable with someone who is willing to be vulnerable with us. It is then that we realize that our own inner healing from the past is not enough for love. It must be accompanied by trusting the one we choose to love, trusting them by offering ourselves. Trusting that the one we love isn't making a list of our weaknesses to use against us, and that they will treasure the gift of our hearts that we've given. By not requiring the one we love to be perfect, yet finding them perfect for us, we finally realize that this type of relationship can't be quantified or simply stated as one whole person. As said F.W. Boreham in The Sword of Solomon. And this is what he said, or she said. I don't know if F.W. is male or female. There is a sense in which 2 and 2 are 4, the plane of ledgers and cash books, on which these propositions are approximately sound. But if you rise from that plane to a loftier one, you will find at once that they are untenable. It is obviously untrue that half a baby and half a baby make a baby. Let the sword do its deadly work. The 2 halves of a baby make no baby at all. On this higher plane of human sentiment and experience, the laws of mathematics collapse completely. When a man distributes his wealth among his children, he gives to each a part. But when a woman distributes her love among her children, she gives it all to each. No man who has once fallen in love will ever be persuaded that 1 and 1 are only 2. He looks at her and he feels that 1 + 1 + 1 would be 1,000,000. In the great crises of life, one's faith in figures breaks down hopelessly. So, in the bigger scheme of things, yes, I am whole and complete, but I am constantly progressing. You are whole and complete, but you are constantly progressing. And when we come together, it's not simply 1 × 1 = 1. It's the expression of infinity that I am constantly evolving, and the expression of infinity that you are constantly evolving, growing, that creates this infinite perspective, this infinite person between the 2 of us. That's absolutely beautiful. Again, please like, subscribe to, and share this with others, and together, let's heal the world.